Hi, darling. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. And today I have a Bible journaling process for you. Here in my Interleave Bible, you guys know I've been loving being back in my Bibles. And so I am going to be journaling day 1 of Unchanging Majesty. One of the verses so 2 verses stuck out to me, Malachi 3:6 and Numbers 23:19. And I am reading through the Bible in a year, and I recently, about 2 books ago, because now I'm in the book of Joshua, I did finish up Numbers, and I did go through a rabbit hole about Numbers 23:19. So because that was something that I have been reflecting on recently, or that I had reflected on recently, I wanted to journal there. And so here in my Interleave Bible, the verse, because it's verse 19, the verse actually starts here and finishes up here. And I am going to go ahead and journal on this side. I don't know. I kind of feel like I want to. I hate that it's kind of broken up on both sides. But I think I'm going to go with this one just because this side is a little bit more stable for me to do my journaling. So I'm going to go ahead and journal it here, and I'll probably write it out as well. But yeah, I am going to be using some of the ephemera paper pieces that kind of look like tile alphas, but they're like big pieces. Some of the die cuts as well, some of the stamps. And I wanted to say, so this is the stamp set that came with the kit. It has some of it has like Jupiter's orbit. It has some scales. It has some, just different galactic type of symbols and things. Even has like moon phases here. But I pulled this from my stash, and I really love how this kind of coordinates with the die cuts. This is Running Clocks, and I can't remember what kit this came with, but it's one of the old one, and I thought it would be perfect to kind of use as a background stamp. So this was in my stash, so don't forget to shop your stash. And I'll be using a couple of distressed oxides, spun sugar, peeled paint, and tattered rose. And yeah, that is about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on fast forward, and let's dig in. Okay, darling, so I'm going to start off with my background here, and I really love how this background came out, especially when I add the splatters at the end. We'll get to that soon, but what I'm doing here is I started kind of blending in the tattered rose at the top, and then I was like, whoops, let me add some washi tape. Sometimes I don't care if the colors mix over to the other side, but lately I've been just a little bit more careful, only because when I add water, sometimes it does kind of spread. So I've been trying to be a little bit more careful about that. So here I am doing 3 different shades. I start off with Tattered Rose at the top, which is that peachy cream color. And then I go into Spun Sugar in the middle. I really love that pop of pink, by the way. And then I end up on the bottom, and I do kind of a smaller kind of section of the Peeled Paint. Peeled Paint is a beautiful, like olivey green that I really enjoy in my stash. So I kind of blend those all in with 2 of my contour makeup brushes that I use specifically for these inks. And now I'm going to grab my heat tool so I can dry down my page. I am journaling in Numbers chapter 23, and I am journaling verse 19, which reads, God is not man that he should lie, or a son of man that he should change his mind. Has he said, and will he not do it? Or has he spoken, and will he not fulfill it? This verse speaks volumes about God's immutable character, and it was something that I wanted to focus on as the attribute of God that was kind of popping out at me from day 1. So that's kind of why I went with this verse. Now, here in the background or on screen, you see I grabbed the Running Clocks stamp set. This is from an older kit, and it's a texture stamp. So what I'm doing is I'm just inking up the texture stamp with the different oxide colors, and I'm stamping the kind of like a tone-on-tone stamping in the color that it corresponds to. Now, this looks beautiful in person. So you may not be able to see it too much on screen, but trust me, the goodness of the tone on tone layers is there, and I really love how this turned out. Okay, so next I'm going to work on my title. So I want to spell out immutable, sorry. And I'm using these Scrabble tiles they were like an ephemera set, 96 pieces that I showed you in the intro. And what I'm going to do is, just to make them pop off the page a little bit, I'm taking my brush that still has a little bit of that peeled paint, and I'm just going around and distressing the edges just a tad bit. It'll make it kind of pop off the page. And then I'm going to grab a couple of the ephemera pieces as well. I'll add those around the page. And I'm just looking for pieces that kind of match, but also that have, for example, we have the sand time clock, and we also have the other clock over at the top. And then I added that floral piece, and I'm leaving in this portion here where I'm kind of going back and forth with some of the pieces. Sometimes I kind of have decision fatigue. So sometimes I really need to just, okay, I'm going to make a choice, make a decision, and go with it. Because if not, I could sit here forever trying to pick the perfect piece to go somewhere. So take it from me. Just make a decision and then start adhering some things down. And then you can take it from there. You can always layer above it or on it, and then go a little bit further. So now I'm going to edge up. I'm just going to use my contour brushes to kind of knock back some of the white on the edges of the die cuts. I do love a little bit of white because it does make it pop off the page. But too much stark white with no white on the page was just going to make it look a little bit too much. So I went ahead and kind of cut some of the white out. I used the two contour brushes to kind of add some color to the background. And this is just going to help it blend into the page. And then lastly, now, well, not lastly, but now I'm going to start adhering all of my pieces to the page, but I won't make you watch me adhere every single piece. Next, after adhering all those pieces down, I'm going to work on adding some more layering pieces. So now I have my title, which is really big, and in the middle, I have 3 big die cuts that kind of form a triangle around the page. And so I knew I wanted to make sure I was using the Unchanging Seals stamp set. And this is one of the things that in my setup and organizing video, I kind of labeled each of these seals to make sure that if I'm journaling one of these days, I can add them to the pages. So what I did was I grabbed a clear sticker that says numbers 2319, and I added it right under my title. And then I grabbed the seal for the verse Malachi 3:6, which is the other verse that was referenced in day 1 that really speaks about God's immutable character as well. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that out on this pink grid paper, just adding a touch more pink here. And then I'm going to also use, there's like a little squiggly line, like kind of like for postage. I'm going to use that along with the seal, and it's going to create a really pretty effect. So using my VersaFine ink, I stamp out my seal, and then I'm going to cut that out. I really love that the seals have different sizes. Some are squares or ovals or circles, and I think it just brings a fun element that you can add some extra things to the page. So here I'm adding those squiggly lines to the seal directly to the page, and then I'm going to add the seal right next to it, and I love that. Kind of creates kind of like a mini cluster there at the bottom. Okay, at the top, I'm going to add Unchanging Majesty. I thought that would be fun to kind of create another mini cluster at the top, bringing in that stamp element and along with the die cuts, bringing in some of that black, and also it'll have the title of the devotional. And then, of course, I'm going to go ahead and start working on my journaling. So my journaling consists of a quote from the devotional by Tom Hicks that reads, "God's unchanging nature is the foundation of our security. Because he remains constant, we can face an uncertain world with confidence, knowing that he is always faithful, always righteous, and always mighty to save. And I just love this quote from Tom. I feel like it summarizes beautifully what we can rely on and why God's immutable character is such good news for our lives. So I think it was a great way to kind of summarize day one. And so I added that quote here at the bottom. And then I'm going to pull off my washi tape. Over on the left-hand side, I highlighted the half part of the verse 19 up there towards the top. And then I am going and digging through my stickers to kind of find a sticker that has some of the elements of the kit that will match. And then I will box out that verse as well over there at the top. So the last thing I'm going to do is add some splatters to my page. And I am using the Distress Mica Stain Sprays. I'm using the color Winterberry. This is by Tim Holtz. And I love using these because they're a little lighter and it's not as stark as black splatters. The colors add a little bit of sheen, a little bit of shine, and I really love how it adds a special touch to this page. So after adding my splatters all the way around this page, I'm going to go ahead and give you a last look at how this page turned out. I really love the end result. I love when something that you have in your mind translates to the page beautifully. If you are new here, I hope you consider subscribing. Hit the like button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And if you have any ideas or anything you want to see with this kit, let me know. Thank you so much for joining me each and every video, darlings. God bless. Bye.